This gentleman, I've known him for, I would say now, it's probably about 8 years now, maybe longer. I'll let him tell the story of how we met. I love when he tells the story of how we met. It's quite funny. But I've known him now for almost a decade, and just a gentleman that is a close friend of mine, a brother of mine, and someone that I had a lot of respect for him from the very first time I actually met him. And that respect has just grown and grown and grown and grown. He has done some phenomenal things, ladies and gentlemen. He is an incredible husband, incredible father, incredible leader, mentor, businessman, investor. And we're going to get into all of that today because I believe he has a lot of value that he's going to give each and every one of us that's on this live right now. He hails out of Mexico, but he travels all around the world. And him and his beautiful wife, I saw an article. She was just featured in Forbes magazine. So she is a tiger. I'm telling you, that lady is no joke. All right, Monica Tapia. But today we have Iván Tapia here with us. Iván, can you hear me okay? Awesome. Now I see he's talking, but I can't hear him in my headset. But Iván, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here.
All right, I can
Yeah,
hear
I can
you
hear
now.
you perfectly. How are you, my brother?
Perfect. Awesome. I see you're in your studio as well. I love it.
Yeah.
Good deal. So are you back at home now?
Yeah, we're home.
Okay.
We're here in Querétaro, Mexico,
Cool deal.
ready for
Cool
the
deal.
sun.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, listen, man, thank you for jumping on Believe Nation .live here. I know a lot of people have been excited to hear from you on this live here today. But Iván, let's start with your story. Let's start with your background. How did you get to where it is that you are today? Funny enough, we're wearing almost the same colors. Is that green and
Black,
blue?
black with a little bit of green.
Okay.
So this is a
And
green
there's some
jacket.
blue in there too, right? Is there some blue in there?
This is some blue here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You always do that, man. How do we always do that? How do we
This
always
is
kind of
this
coordinate
some
that?
this some AL. I don't know. I just felt Christmas was coming, so I said green. Right. That's how I felt.
Gotcha. So tell us your story, man. Go from the beginning of the beginning. How did all of this come about?
Well, when I break it out, very simple. 2009, I'm a civil engineer working normal, most of the people,
Actually,
and I
Yvonne,
lost my job.
I want you to start from the beginning of the beginning, not the entrepreneur, Yvonne. I want to know the little
Oh,
kid. I want to know the small IT.
okay. So, born and raised Tijuana, Mexico, since October 20, 1983. I'm from the suburbs from Tijuana, Mexico. My dad was a pharmacist. We used to work for a drugstore in one of the it's called IMSS, which is a public hospital in Mexico. My mom used to work as a nurse there, and they used to always try to bring me to paying schools and try to raise me there. But I always had a dream. I was a good baseball player back in the day, so I always had a dream to go to the MLB. And what happened is I went to finish off high school in the U.S. I always talk about how there's two ways of going to the U.S. in a hurry or with a visa. I went in a hurry, and we stayed there. It's the truth. We stayed there for a couple of years, and I was doing great. Then it's a fact that I got hurt from my shoulder, so I was always good with numbers. So I said, let's study engineering. I went to Cal State LA, and I still was playing baseball, not at the level I used to be, but I was still playing good level of baseball. Went even to college two, Division II World Series. We went there, and then we went back to graduate at San Diego State University. That's around where I met Monica, and I met her through basically one of my situations. I was starting to get into being an engineer, working as an engineer, and I got a job. I still remember I got offered a job for a small firm and a big firm. The big
Mhm.
firm offered me 70K and the small 60K, and the small firm offered me 50K. And I went with the small firm because I thought this is going to be a bigger future for me.
Mm.
Well, a year after, December 2008, I didn't have a job.
Wow.
So when you are just an employee, just getting hired, what do? You buy a home, you buy a car. That's what you see everybody do. That's what I did. And for a kid from Tijuana, Mexico, to be working in the U.S., earning some 50K a year, and having a nice home in Tijuana, because I was crossing the border from Tijuana to San Diego every morning, because it was cheaper to live in Tijuana. That's what a lot of people do over there.
Mm.
And so what happened is, when I lost my job, I didn't have the money to pay the mortgage. I didn't have the money to pay the car. I was unemployed. I asked for unemployment for basically, it was around 20 months. And that's basically my life as an employee, how it started. I was always a hard working. Since I remember I was 16, I was always working. I used to have even 4 jobs at one
Wow.
point.
Wow.
You know, working at the Home Depot paint department, working as an engineer intern for 2 different companies, and then working at the GNC or as a bellman in La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club, where I used to always. Back in the day, Drew Brees used to be the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. So that's
Wow.
Marty Schottenheimer used to be the head coach for the
Uh-huh.
San Diego Chargers. So I used to be the guy bringing, the nice things for them to the private beach club. So I always around money, and I always used to be, man, that'll be a nice lifestyle,
Mm.
nice life. And what happened? I lost my job back in December, exactly December 12th, 2008. That's when I lost my job.
Mm.
And you want to keep me going? How I went into
The
entrepreneurship?
question I want to, you just mentioned something about working at that hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Mm-hmm.
think? What do you think that really did for you, uh, in order for you to live the life that you live right now, right? And it's
Yes.
hard to connect the dots looking forward. You can do it looking back. How did that experience, even though it was a job that wasn't paying a lot of money, would you say it made a huge difference in who it is that you are today?
It did start to make a huge difference, and the reason why it did is because I remember there was the family. I don't remember the name of this actress, but it was a Desperate Housewives. They used to also go there, and the cool thing about being a bellman in a private club like La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club is sometimes you only pick a couple of bags, and they give you $50 to $100 tip. Okay, so whenever they gave me that $50 to $100 tip, I was like, wow, this guy's these guys need to be wealthy in order to give me a $50 to $100 tip. I don't
Right.
know how much it is, but then also the experience, because now I'm the bellman, but it was a private beach, so I needed to go to the beach sometimes because the guests asked me, and to tell the people, "Hey, I'm sorry, you cannot be here. It's a private beach." People used to get mad at me, like people walking around, like, "Why are there's no private beaches in California?" And I used to be, "Well, this is one."
Right.
And I used to, yeah, but that got me thinking. I'm the employee of this place. These
Mm.
guys are paying for it. And I
Right.
remember used to see their cars, their Ferrari, their Lamborghinis, or their G wagons, or whatever it was.
Mm.
And I used to just experience that,
Yeah.
or walking into the rooms and experience that.
Yeah.
I was amazed. There's
People
levels.
wonder, Yvonne. People wonder, where does this drive come from when it comes to
Mm,
you and Monica? Where does this desire to be great, to be out of this world, impact a billion people? We have the same purpose in life. It's absolutely amazing that we're so aligned. And I believe it comes from what it is that you experienced.
mhm.
Your desires, ladies and gentlemen, your desire, that burning desire, only comes from what it is that you've experienced. The reason why you desire that favorite cake, the reason why you desire that favorite food, is because you
Mhm.
actually have experienced it before, right? Because the
Yeah.
mind doesn't know what's real or what's not, right? So your mind was experiencing being in that hotel room. Your mind was experiencing being on that beach. It was experiencing looking at the Lamborghinis and all those things. And it created this burning desire for you to go on and be great. And it took some time, but that seed was actually planted. How important is it for people to start planting the seed of desire and experience in their lives right now, regardless of what their situation is?
They need to start right away. I mean, for me, it was just I always talk about there's a combination between inspiration and basically for me right there, emotional impact, desperation right there, because I was when I got in that seed of going into that lifestyle, and I was a bellman, but I was still not an engineer right there, but I was still making on summers around $4,000, and for a kid who was around 20, 21, 22 years of age from Tijuana, Mexico, making $4,000 a month, I used to be feeling okay, but then you need to understand there's different levels. Me personally, I still remember all those people, and there was some paradigms that I started clearing out. Like one of them is the rich people, the rich are bad people, the rich are arrogant or whatever. And when I used to be around those kind of leaders, those kind of people, they used to be so nice to me. They were so nice to me. They were like, "Hey, man, nice job." And I was sweating. It's summer in California, and I'm bringing. And if you ever go to the private beach club in La Jolla, I mean, we can go right now. But there's no elevators. It's an old school traditional hotel.
Oh, wow.
You're bringing luggages to the second story, and they're heavy. So they see you sweaty, and they're like, "Here you go." And you're looking at them like they're so nice. They're nice people.
Right.
They're not like they say that it. So it is very important to start the seeds. I was always trying to be around those kind of people. When I start seeing how nice they were, every time they told me, for example, I still remember, it was Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. That was the time set for Marty Schottenheimer's dinner. That was every Tuesday when the NFL schedule was on. So what do you think I was doing? 7:30, I was at the lobby. I was just waiting. I wanted to be the guy working for Marty Schottenheimer every Tuesday. That's what I wanted. And not because of the money. I just bring whatever they asked to. And then there was a little private studio or whatever looking at the beach. Well, I was next to it just like trying to look at them like I just to be there. I just wanted to experience what they were experiencing. I was like, I need to be there.
Yeah. And so you obviously go through that, and when did you step into entrepreneurship? At what point? What caused you to step into entrepreneurship? For you to say, okay, this is something I need to do.
Well, what happened to me is I went to my first big time pain on the financial part. It sometimes in life, you want more, you want to experience more. That was me on La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club. But when I actually graduated and I started working as a civil engineer, I saw a lid. That's a fact. I saw a lid, and I saw, how are my bosses making? How is their lifestyle? How is their life, etc. And I started living because that's who were my mentors going to be as an engineer. And I saw them, and they're like, "Well, this is my home, etc." And I was like, "That's cool. How long for you to pay that?" Well, 15 years or whatever it is. And I was like, "Man, that's just too much, right? I don't know if I want that." But whatever, that was me. And whenever I got offered opportunities, I was like, "Nah, I'm an engineer." Like, so my dreams, I was kind of like dead on dreams. But what happened is in Mexico, we say it. My cow got killed. Okay, the cow that gave me the milk got killed, and basically that was December 12th, 2008. Okay, so they killed my cow. I got fired. I got no milk coming in. I got no money coming in. Now I need to go to the bank. This is probably one of the two toughest things when they fired me. I was in my car crying for 2 hours, thinking, "What am I going to do?" Right, because I got monthly mortgage payments, and I have no money. And that means I have to go back living maybe in a smaller apartment, and then we eventually had to go living with my parents. And then the second one, it's just tough when you go to the bank, and then you're like, "Yeah, the car payment of $450, can you like bring it down or not pay it for like until I get a job back?" So that's a tough one. And when they're looking at you like, "Yeah, fill this report," I was feeling, man, I need to fill out this poor report. It's hard, but it's true. And that got me so hard. Even little things, David, even little things. I don't know why I remember this right now. I got my brother-in-law, okay? They used to come to my home before I lost it, every Friday and Saturday. to drink some beer or to whatever, just have fun in our way that we were thinking, right? And what happened, I remember I had no money. I haven't been working for like 2 weeks. So now I'm not spending. I'm like keeping whatever I have. I got like maybe $300, right? And I'm like, I need to save those till whatever happens. And this guy, he's like, let's go and buy some beer. I'm like, I can't, bro. He's like, why not? I got no money. And he's like, it's beer. It's like $5. And I'm like, yeah, but I have no money. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll buy it. Now, okay, let's go. So we take my car. We go to the AMPM in Tijuana, Mexico, right? And we go there, and he grabs, I'm never going to forget that. He grabs a 12-pack, and he says, give me $5. That's all he said. And I was like, I just told you in my home. I don't even have $5, man. And then he was like, well, then you're not going to drink. I was like, oh. And that hurt me. You have no idea how much that hurt me because I was always the family member. They used to pay for stuff because I was the guy with making the US dollars, right? And I was used to be the guy paying for it. And now this brother-in-law, who's making maybe 20% of what I'm making, he's now mocking me. And I feel so bad for little things, just little things that I felt I was not a provider anymore.
Wow.
And that hurt me so much. And I'm not even talking about my little daughter. That's when it really hurt me. When we were starting to go to downtown, there's a street in Mexico, in Tijuana, Mexico. Some of you guys maybe have heard. It's called the Coahuila. That is the worst street in downtown Mexico because that is the prostitute street. Well, Sundays at between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., people go in there and sell stuff on the street. Guess where Iván Tapia was around 2009?
Wow.
Selling stuff from my home right there in the Coahuila street, 6 to 8 a.m., having to wake up Sunday at 5:30 a.m. to go in there and sell some microwaves.
This is 11 years ago.
This is 11 years ago.
Wow.
So,
and, it's funny. It's funny, Iván, as you were talking, I remember the training that I actually did, and this may have been the first time we met in Dallas. I talked about the pain that you have to go through, right? The pain of life, and that pain can turn into inspiration, right? That pain of something as small as someone saying, "Hey, you can't drink with me because you don't have $5." Or that pain of having to sell things on a corner, that it created a passion. It created a desire for more. It moved you into action mode. See, that's what pain does. Pain provides you with the passion that you need, all right, in order to take action, all right? And while you're taking action, what actually inspires you is you don't want to go back. Right? You don't want to go back to that feeling, right? So you stay inspired while you're taking that action, and then you never quit. That's the pain. I believe it was Dallas when I actually taught that. So those of you that are watching right now, and we're going to get to where Iván is right now financially. We're going to get there, trust me. But listen, it all started 11, 12 years ago at his lowest point. And how he was able to handle that has allowed him to handle low points, because you have high lows, high lows, high lows. And he's been able to now handle it to where in the area of leadership, okay, in the area of leadership, he's one of the greatest leaders in our profession right now. Do you believe, Iván, that your life experiences and the challenges that you went through helped you develop the character of a leader that you are today?
Definitely. I mean, the whole part of suffering and pain and going through it definitely developed the character, because what happens is we're not used to be facing that kind of pain or suffering. I always embrace it. I'm always so excited when anything that goes through pain happens, because I know something bigger is going to happen. But that I know since some years ago. Back then in 2009, I didn't know that. So I was really experiencing some pain, but I didn't know if anything good was coming through it. I just knew what I did know back in the day is that I needed to take massive action. That's what I need, and whatever everybody had told me, because that was my environment. Whatever my friends and my family had told me about income, about finances, it was not true. So that's what happened. So you're talking leadership. I needed to take lead of my life, and for that, I needed to do different things differently. That's what happened with entrepreneurship back then. I still remember um, when I got into network marketing or what happened is I was here's what happened. I was I'm still working in my office as an engineer, and then a friend of mine, Steven, walks in. He was just an architect. I knew him very very little. He comes in with 3 bottles of juices, and he is like, "Yeah, I'm here to invite your bosses to an entrepreneurship." And I'm like, "What about me, right? What about me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can come on over." So I invited myself. Check that out. And I'm sitting down, and I'm seeing my former bosses laughing at him. They're laughing. They're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, this is network marketing, right? And he's like, yeah. And I knew network marketing because my mom used to do 10 years network marketing. My mom, I used to be helping my mom back in the day. That's also kind of the pain because my mom has struggles in walking. She developed a weird, nervous disease where she can just barely walk today. Oh, and I used to help her throwing out the flyers and posters and the posts and everything. I used to help her out a lot. I never did Herbalife. Well, it was Herbalife with her, but it was still just helping her, Wow. And what happened is when he introduced me to that, I was like, nah, this is not for me. But then he showed me a magazine. And in the magazine, it was the Boston Red Sox drinking that juice. I'm a baseball player, right? So I see the Boston Red Sox drinking the juice. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to drink that juice, right? It is the juice that helped them win the championships, right? So
what was this juice? What was the name of the juice again?
Monavie.
Okay. I remember that.
And what happened is he's like, hey, man, why don't I go and pick you up and we come to see a meeting? Sure, let's go. And I went to the meeting. And as soon as I got in, 600 people all fired up about a juice, right? I still remember the stories, right? They're like, if your arm gets cut off, you just put some juice in and the arm will go. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, that's exaggeration, right? But what happened is they introduced me to the gentleman making $100K per month. He was 27 and I was 25.
Wow.
And then and he said that, and I remember at the end, they said he was driving his car. And so that's the inspiration. That's the part of the inspiration. So when I met him and I was talking to him, he just told me I was doing real estate and I struggled big time in the last months and I started doing this. And sooner or later, I joined. I started doing network marketing back then. And here's the thing. I didn't just sign up. I went all in. I cannot explain that too much because I don't know what happened to me right there, but I think it's because I saw my mom 10 years in Herbalife, combination with seeing this gentleman making $100K a month. But when I joined with the largest pack. I still remember a month later, I was putting my own office. I was putting flyers and posters. I was doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people were probably coming with, let me try it out. I was not trying it out. I said, this is my opportunity. Yeah. And for 3 years,
Yvonne,
I didn't even make it.
I love hearing this entire story because I knew a lot of your story, but not everything you're sharing right now. And we can look back and see you working at that hotel, put some images in your mind, put a lifestyle in your mind that you now desired. So, and the self-confidence formula says that any desire that we persistently hold in our minds will gradually, turn into physical action. So when you found the vehicle that could give you that lifestyle, because being an engineer couldn't allow you to go and drive a Lamborghini or make $100,000 a month, but it went and it sought out some practical means. That's what it says. It says that when you hold that image in your mind, it's going to go and seek out practical means in order for you to accomplish that objective that you have. So you had a desire in your mind of the type of life that you wanted to create for you and your family. And then the opportunity comes along, right, in order for you to actually do that. And this is why it's so important for people to experience the life that they want prior to being able to afford the life that they want. Most people think, well, if I can't afford it, why should I go to that dealership? If I can't afford it, why should I go to that hotel? If I can't afford it, why should I go in and window shop, right? Why should I try on clothes? Well, you're doing that because you're planting the seed of desire in you. And what's going to happen when you do that over and over and over again, it's going to go and seek out the right opportunities and the right people and the right situations and the right mentor. Who was your very first mentor that you really looked up to, that you said, you know what, man, if she can do it, or if maybe it was a man, if he can do it, then I can do it too?
Yeah. Well, before I say that, not that you're saying that, I still remember I was 18. Check this out. I was 18, and a guy who had a son same age as me. Okay, he was an amazing baseball player. So this is why also it was a lot of pain also. And I was a great pitcher. I was throwing 91 when I was 18. He brought me in. He brought me in into back then. The San Diego Padres Stadium. Brought me in there, and the dad told me this. My son is a prospect. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I can tell you this, and he's not here right now, but I want to say this to you. You are going to be playing MLB ball. I don't think my son is. He said that to me. When that gentleman said that to me, I think I said this only once or friend happened to me, that I said I'm an MLB player before I got hurt. So I was already working out and thinking I was going to have the lifestyle as an MLB player, professional mayor. So combination. My first mentor in network marketing, it was Calvin Becerra. That was my first mentor. But he was my mentor without him knowing. I think a lot of people, he didn't still pick me as his apprentice back then.
Right.
But I picked him as my mentor. And the reason is I just love his work ethic. His work ethic was just unparalleled. He was making $100K a month, and he was going with me, not every time, but maybe once every month or once every 2 months, to do a meeting with me. A guy who was maybe making $500 or $800 a month, but he used to do that for him all the way working out and doing the business, and that got me so fired up. And I think the best way to lead is with example.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things he showed me. And that's how he showed me his heart. Showing your heart for the people. Right. Always be there for the little guy, not only for the big guy, for the strong guy. So believe in everybody. That's kind of like what he showed me with that example. So I'm always grateful about him. This is the gentleman who was making $100K a month, and he just inspired me so much back in the day. I consider him my mentor from 2009 until 2010, probably, in network marketing. Of course, I always used to listen to Jim Rohn, so he was another mentor.
Right.
So now I have the part of the knowledge or the wisdom, but I did never had the opportunity to actually talk to Mr. Jim Rohn, sold from him, and then I saw the action with a Calvin.
Right. The one of the things that I've always talked to people about was, when you have the goal, right? Whatever life what it is you want to create. I believe that there will always be someone that comes into your life that shows you that it's possible, right? Mm-hmm. That gives you that physical picture for you to see that the thing that you're believing for, guess what? I'm already here. I'm already living that lifestyle. So what it does, it just creates even more belief for you. Now, you moved on from that company, and you got involved. We were in the same company together. When did you start developing the mindset? Because I want you to talk about a couple of things here. I want you to talk about the mindset. I want you to talk about the power of proximity. Because today you've got some giants as mentors of yours. Obviously, Tony Robbins is one of your close mentors. I want you to talk about the mindset that you've been able to develop, And then also I want you to talk about the power of proximity and how that has made a huge difference in who you have become today.
Proximity is I think it's at all. Proximity is power, but I think proximity with intention, with the right intentions, is power. There's a lot of people who have the proximity but don't have the right intentions. I always love to just be around people who have the major success. And to be honest, I didn't at the beginning. When you're trying to learn about success, you don't even know the person on the inside. You just know the person on the outside, what he's speaking, what he's saying. But that's why I wanted to be near, because I wanted to understand why was the leader thinking the way he was thinking. Why was he speaking the way he was speaking? Was that just a show? What was it? What was what that leader got inspired? Give you a small idea, right? You said how did I met you? I mean that's kind of like what happened. I went to an event, and you see all the leaders on stage, and I remember I was going into the suite of my former sponsor of that opportunity, and I go into the elevator, and I see you right now. Back then, I'm making what it is, 1,500 a month, maybe, right? But I'm just excited. I'm just a fired up guy, and I'm bringing out one of my prospects to meet my sponsor, and we're walking into the elevator. Oh, David Imonitie, right? That's David right there. And it is funny because the way I remember the scene, I'm taller than you, but I do remember the scene where I'm speaking like this. I don't know why, but I'm feeling that I'm speaking upwards to David Imonitie because we went to the next level. We just saw you. I think you were making over 100K, 150K right there, probably around there. You were still not making 200, 250K, which you eventually did, which was, oh my God. But then back then I just saw you and I'm like, David, I still remember, back then we still didn't have the selfies. So I still remember, can we get I remember, can we get a picture? And you're like, yeah. You're probably tired of taking a lot of pictures. And I'm like, yeah, awesome. And you turn your cell phone like around and like, yeah, smile. And you walked out the elevator, and I still remember like, damn it, the picture went wrong, right? And what happened. But that's how admiration happens. But that's a good admiration. That's good respect. Sometimes people have the bad part of admiration, or too much admiration, where it becomes envy or jealousy or bitterness or whatever it is. For me, no. For me, I understood. Thank God I understood back in the day about being respectful, about not bitterness, about just embrace people and be happy about people. And maybe it's because I went through pain. Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's a part of that, that I went through pain, and I kind of understand that people have their ups and downs, and people are not going to be great all the time. Maybe it's because of that. Mindset started developing for me. I didn't know the power of the mindset, to be honest. I used to be an ignorant on fire, okay, which honestly is great until some certain degree.
Yes.
It gets to a point, to a certain degree, you cannot be ignorant on fire.
Yeah.
You need to understand how you got where you are. And what happens? Yeah, and what happens is I went to an event, and this is how it happened. I went to an event. I still remember the day because emotionally, July 23rd, and they were talking about the 6 steps, how to turn anything that you desire into gold. And I'm writing them down. And as soon as I'm writing them down, I'm like, this is gold. I'm saying to myself, this is freaking gold. This is so amazing. And I'm so fired up writing them down. And then suddenly, I don't know why, I started like going back into my notes. And I'm like, I wrote this like a year ago. And this is, I'm just doing it right now. And I'm like, oh my God, I could have learned this a year ago if I would have been open-minded and open-hearted. What happened? So I understood that mindset. Since then, every time, maybe before that, I questioned everything. Everything from leaders, from mentors, I used to hear it, but I used to kind of adapt it, try to adapt it for my city, for whatever it was. But today, I don't. Today, I don't adapt it. Today, anything that, for example, Tony Robbins says, I'm doing it. Anything that Grant Cardone says on real estate, I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna do it. That's the way I am today. But that's what I wasn't doing back then. So now, every time I got somebody who's making more than me in financials, or is better than me physically, or is better than me spiritually, or is better than me in relationships, or is better than me in anything, I'm not only just listening to them, I'm going to be applying what they say. I'm going to be learning from what they say.
That's a mindset. That's a mindset, Iván, to do that, right? That's a certain mindset to be teachable and coachable in every area of your life, right? And most people, that's one of the basics to success, ladies and gentlemen, is how teachable and coachable are you, right? The mindset to be teachable and coachable, the mindset to say, you know what, I'm willing to learn, but I'm also willing to apply. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to take on a different approach. I'm willing to take on the approach of the successful individuals. And most people don't understand that because people think, well, I want to do it my way. Well, your way is not working, right? It's proven that your way is not working. This individual has the results that you're looking to have, whether it's in relationships or leadership or money or you know, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you develop the mindset of someone who is extremely teachable and coachable, meaning I'm willing to learn, but I'm going to apply the information and I'm going to change whatever it is I need to change in order for me to get the result that I'm actually looking for. You have done some amazing things, Iván. You've done some amazing things in home-based business, but I want to talk about home-based business. I want to talk about the world of investing. You have done some incredible things when it comes to investing. So I came up with an acronym for Iván. Okay? I came up with an acronym. So I know you haven't seen this first, but Iván is a great investor. And when I say investor, I'm not just talking about money. He invests time. Okay? He has a huge vision. He's constantly taking action, and he's someone that never, ever quits. Okay? So Iván, you can run with that. All right? But let's talk about the investing part first. How important is it for people to learn how to invest? You know, how to invest, whether it's money, investing time. When did you decide, you know what, I'm going to take on the mindset of an investor?
That's a great question. Me personally, the first thing I understood back in 2011 is you're making of basically direct proportional to what your knowledge is. So back then I understood that. So since that date, July 23rd, 2011, I didn't go little on investing in the personal development. Since then, anytime they told me go to this event, anytime they told me listen to this person, listen to this leader, I was taking massive action. I don't know if you remember this, but I do remember the first time you went on stage and made us all jump back in 2013. I'd never seen anybody jump on stage. That was the first time ever in my life I saw that. And I asked you, where did you learn this? And you said Tony Robbins. Now, when you said Tony Robbins, that got me, okay, I need to be learning also from this Tony Robbins guy. And it's amazing because when I saw him, I'm like, oh, this is the Shallow Hal guy, right? And so now I started investing into personal development with Tony. Bob Proctor. Now, I heard, of course, people start talking about Bob Proctor. What do? Start investing into workshops with Bob Proctor. And that's what I started doing. In any workshop, there's some guys that I used to go just to invest $500, $1,000, whatever it was. I needed to learn them, what they were saying, why they were thinking. John C. Maxwell. I mean, I remember my first leadership training. They said John C. Maxwell. Well, guess what I did? I bought 3 books right there on the spot when they were talking about him. Amazon. Boom, boom, boom. Bought those 3 books. 21 Irrefutable Laws, 5 Levels of Prediction, and I'm trying to translate the book. Basically, the leader, something about the leader.
Developing the leader within you?
Yeah, that's the one. And basically, and that's what happened. I take massive action as soon as I hear something. So I invest in it. And that has taken me because now, actually, I was making numbers this year. Unfortunately, COVID hit and pandemic hit, but like I had prepared December, it was over $400,000 of investment in personal development just this year.
Wow.
Um, but I started with $20, $20
Right. Right.
that July 23rd, 2011.
I
So
want I want everybody. I think I don't want people to gloss over that. You said was it 400,000?
yeah, 400,000.
Okay. So you guys will say, oh well, he's got the money. But remember, he said, hey, I started doing this when it was just $20. Anytime there was an opportunity for me to learn, anytime there was an opportunity for me to grow, I was going to invest. I was going to invest in that book. I was going to invest in that seminar. I was going to invest in that event. And because he kept making those little investments, it's now grown to the point now where you can invest $400,000 on your own personal growth. How much money do you think you've gotten back in return for these investments that you've made into yourself?
And everything that I made, I made it because of this investment.
Yes.
There's no even just a small example. I mean, I remember the first time I saw Grant Cardone, for example. I saw Grant, and I said I need to get next to this guy, and I didn't know about his fund. I didn't know anything about him. So a small example about that is I went to his event. I paid the best seats that I could back then, and I remember he talked about charity. And I said, well, I'm going to give charity. I love giving charity. I have a percentage for that, and I'll do it. Boom. And the amazing thing is when I gave out the charity, he was like, well, I think it's for everybody who gave, I think it was over 10K or 5K. I don't remember how much it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on back on stage and we'll take a picture with you and Grant. I was like, oh, great. Fantastic. So I did that. And that's the first time I met Grant. It was just a small picture. Ariel, he probably never remembers that. But for me, back then, it was just proximity. And what happened, this is the amazing part about that. What happened is not too much about Grant right there, but what happened is somebody from Grant's team contacted me now. They wanted to sell me on something. And I was in the table with Ed Milet and with Grant Cardone and Lewis House just because I was back then and somebody in his team got interested in me. And now I'm in the table eating food with all three of them.
Wow.
And so, but it's because I invested in something. People, oh, charity. Well, it's still investment. It's still helping a charity, but it's still investment. And because you're investing in your soul, you think about it. You're investing in your soul. You're giving out. Somebody else is receiving. But that right there, that action for me helped to be in alignment with Grant's goals.
Yeah.
So that helped me speaking out or speaking with him later on. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So
and it goes into your vision as well. When you're investing, you're investing in the lives of other people. You're investing in your life. That gives you an opportunity to be able to pour out even more. And we have the same vision. Your vision is to positively impact the lives of 1 billion people. So I already know we're going to get it done. All right, because two of us going after the same thing. That means that it's completely done. You've got Latin America. You've got the English market. You've got Asia. You're impacting people from all around the world, and you're constantly taking action, bro. You're someone that just never, ever, ever stops. You just keep going and going and going and going. So, man, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing with us. I'm really, really excited about what it is that you're doing. Do you guys have any plans for Thanksgiving? What are some of the things that maybe your charity you're going to be doing? I know we have a food drive that's coming up that we're going to do next week, a turkey drive that we're actually going to do. Wow. What are some of the things that you and Monica are doing? What are some of the things that you have coming up? How can we find you? How can people follow you and get in line with your vision and where it is that you're going?
Wow, that's amazing. The turkey drive, I love it. We're in Mexico. In Mexico, we don't do Thanksgiving. I know in the U.S. it's big Thanksgiving. It's probably even bigger Thanksgiving than Christmas. I see it like that since I was young. But we're doing something for Christmas. Okay. For Christmas, we're doing something where we are. I'm trying to remember. I think it's 10,000 or 20,000 meals That's where we are at.
Wow.
And we're doing it. We actually want to expand it. We're hopefully done. If we are done, I'm creating a community, kind of like Believe Nation. And I got a call actually probably after this to see where we are with that. And where we're creating the community is we are going to be adding leaders not only from Mexico but all over Latin America, so that in Christmas they will have also food in their homes. So we give out basically, I think you can say groceries for families, and it's nice 7-day grocery pack that we give up every Christmas. You know how we started this 5 years ago. I started this just because I was on the street. It was Christmas, and I was like, man, I need to give, and I think we bought like 10 groceries. And I just went on the street in Tijuana, Mexico. Not a very nice place where I went, but I gave out 10, and I gave out 10. And I was like, and the people, I didn't know how people were going to respond. People, when I went down the hill to like the lower suburbs in Tijuana, they were taking them out for me. They were like little kids, like give it to me, and their mom and dad, thank you, all excited. I was like, wow. So next year, I think we did like 200. Because I was afraid where to go to give this, right?
Right.
That's kind of how it started. And then we did 1,000. Last year, we talked to a company and they helped us distributing. I think it was like 5,000. And this year we said minimum 10. But if we get more help from Latin America, how to distribute, we're gonna go to 20 or even larger, probably 50,000.
Well, Believe Nation, the I Believe Foundation will definitely contribute to that as well. So you have a contribution.
Well,
from
I
us.
can share it also in Turkey Drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Put that flyer back up so people can see. We're gonna be November 24th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're gonna be at the Faith International Church. The flyer will be all over social media. The I Believe Foundation. We're doing a turkey drive. We're going to be doing some things with the mayor as well. So it's going to be a turkey drive and food giveaway during Thanksgiving week. But listen, Iván, appreciate you so much for coming on. Amazing value, man. Love you and your wife, your beautiful daughters. You guys are absolutely impacting 1 billion people. It's amazing to watch every single day, the things that you're doing. It's inspiring so many people that we don't even know, right? With social media, there's so many people that are watching you, that are seeing what it is that you're doing, and it's inspiring them to go and do even more and become even better versions of themselves. So, man, you keep doing it, keep rocking and rolling, and brothers at the hip, let's rock and roll.
Let's go.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you.